CTV News at 5 with Tony Ryma and Rick Wyman with weather.
Good evening. Glad you're with us on this Monday, October 27th. A monumental drug bust for Sault Ste. Marie police recently. CTV's Corey Nordstrom has more on our top story.
More than $1.4 million worth of illicit drugs and over $124,000 in Canadian currency, making this the largest drug seizure in the history of the Sault Ste. Marie Police Service.
The historic drug bust is made up of large quantities of suspected methamphetamine, cocaine, oxycodone, and fentanyl. It all stems from an October 21st search warrant that police executed in a multi-residential unit on Princess Crescent.
I would say that the sheer magnitude of the seizure is very significant. We've prevented a large amount of poison from going onto our streets within our community, and this is about community safety and saving lives. And if that's the case, if we even only saved one life or prevented one overdose, then I would say that's a positive win for us and the community.
20-year-old DeJour Jones from Toronto faces 4 trafficking-related charges and 1 charge for possessing property obtained by crime. In addition to the roughly 10 kilograms or 23 pounds of drugs, officers also located drug cutting agents, packing materials, as well as 3 weigh scales and 5 cell phones.
I can't attribute that this person is affiliated with any specific group. What I can tell you is that the sheer amount of drugs that you see before you and the packaging involved, that this person was organized.
Police officials wouldn't go into the details on how this arrest took place, other than saying that it was a long investigation that used intelligence-led policing and that the investigation remains ongoing.
If more people are identified, then they will be exposed and treated accordingly.
Corey Nordstrom, CTV News, Sault Ste. Marie.
And a Southern Ontario man has been charged after an OPP drug trafficking investigation in Cobalt. The 24-year-old was stopped by police around 3 p.m. Friday in Timmins Shores. A search of the vehicle revealed fentanyl, cocaine, a loaded handgun, and $1,300 in cash. The Toronto man is now facing 7 drug and weapons-related charges. Plenty of sunshine on this Monday and a few degrees above normal. Can we count on more of this for the rest of the week? For all those details, let's bring in CTV's Rick Wyman.
Tony, as I told Amanda Hicks before, you're sounding like a lawyer. You already know the answer to the question, Tony. This is what we've got coming up. We've got some sunshine for the next couple of days and perhaps a wet Halloween. Systems Map brought to you by CAA. Get your membership today at caa.ca. Here is the system that will be approaching northeastern Ontario in a couple of days. Some sunshine tomorrow. Cooler temperatures. 10s, 8s, 7s for tomorrow, and then we'll get some cloud cover and we'll get to the rest of the story, our 5-day forecast, just a couple of minutes away. Tony?
Thanks, Rick. A month-long investigation in Cochran has come to an end with charges being laid against a local man. Provincial police were investigating break-ins and thefts at businesses and private properties around town. The stolen items were recovered after 2 search warrants were executed this month at separate residences. A 32-year-old from Cochran was hit with 16 charges, including 7 counts of possession of property obtained by crime. With as many as 40 layoffs announced last week at North Bay's hospital, the union representing workers is blasting hospital leadership and the Ford government for shrugging off the layoffs' potential impact to patient services. CTV's Eric Tashner reports.
We are not going to take these cuts laying down.
Staff morale is very low at the North Bay Regional Health Centre after devastating cutbacks were announced last week.
The staff are scared, furious, disheartened, disgusted, and they're saying, yeah, I'm probably just going to leave and go on to those jobs outside of healthcare.
The job cuts are a major setback, the union says. 40 full-time and part-time positions will be eliminated.
We had just had a meeting 6 weeks prior to this where the employer is required to disclose to the union if there's going to be any cuts, and if there are going to be cuts, they need to work with us from the beginning stages of planning on minimizing the number of cuts. They never told that it was going to happen.
Affected positions include nurses, PSWs, clerical staff, a pharmacy technician, and a patient food service worker. However, the hospital says actual layoffs could be much lower when retirement and attrition are factored in, as well as the fact 14 new roles are being created.
And we're not going to let this issue go. We're going to pursue this because we're afraid this 40 is going to be another 60 and then another 100, and there'll be downsizing of beds.
The hospital is also realigning the number of physician leadership roles starting January 1st. This is a reduction of 20%, but with no change in doctor numbers, as it looks to find $5.6 million in savings. Nipissing MPP Vic Fideli says these job cuts won't affect patient care, writing, "For the North Bay Regional Health Centre, annual funding has grown by $49.3 million since 2020, representing a nearly 20% increase. The union disagrees.
They're out of touch with reality and don't work on the front lines. They don't have to look in their patient's eyes and say, I won't be back for 15 minutes. I have to go take care of another patient. We're short again today.
CUPE plans to hold a town hall meeting in December, along with rallies calling for changes within the healthcare system. Eric Tashner, CTV News, North Bay.
Work will soon wrap up for the winter on a major rehabilitation project in Greater Sudbury. Work has been underway all summer on a 1.7-kilometer stretch of Junction Creek in the Flour Mill neighborhood. The project manager says the work is half done, with the rest to be completed next year. The $17 million project included excavation of the creek bed. Certain areas are now going to reopen to the public.
They're going to be installing a fence alongside the new walk path right beside the creek. So until everything's actually completed, like we will reopen the park, but we're still going to delineate, the work area from the public to ensure that, people can still use the park and we can also complete our work.
And the project is being funded through the federal government. It's time for a quick break. Coming up on CTV News at 5, Rick has your full weather forecast. But first, let's go to Elliott Lake and the Fire Tower Lookout. This webcam is courtesy of that city. It's 11 degrees. We are back in just a few minutes.
When you see it happen, send it to CTV News. Text 10400. From your screen to ours. Text 10400.
Hope you had a great weekend. The weather was, it was interesting, very cool at night. Some sun, some cloud, overall very enjoyable. That trend will continue here in the Northeast for the next couple of days, but there is a system approaching the Northeast, and unfortunately for the trick-or-treaters, it looks like it's going to rain come Friday, but we'll be keeping a close eye on that. There you see the cloud cover by about 5 Wednesday supper time, and again, we'll keep you posted on that and more. Here we go. Sudbury Nickel Belt, sunshine tomorrow at 10, some cloud cover Wednesday 9, Thursday sunshine 9, Halloween 60% chance of showers. Greater Sudbury Nickel Belt, a high of only 5 on Saturday with the chance of showers as well. So conditions and temperatures are liable to change heading into November. Sault Ste. Marie, Algoma, mainly sunny tomorrow at 12, sunshine and 12 for Wednesday. Thursday 11 sunny skies. Friday some cloud cover and 7 degrees. Saturday sleet, showers, flurry mix, chance at 30% with an expected high of 5 degrees. Meanwhile, Timmins Cochran campus casing. Look at this streak. Sunshine for 3 straight days, 10, 10, and 9. Then Friday, chance of showers at about 60%, high of only 4 for the trick-or-treaters. So depending on what time that rain falls, it could be a wet night. And Saturday, sleet, showers, and flurries. That mix, 4 degrees, 30% chance there. Temiskaming Shores and Kirkland Lake, sunshine for 3 consecutive days at 10, 9, and 8. As the temperature cools off, we go down to 4 for Friday. Some sleet, 30% chance on Halloween for the trick-or-treaters. And again, 30% chance of showers on Saturday, 4 degrees as well. So that Friday mix could be a mix of some shower activity and possibly some snow as well. And moving on over to North Bay, West Nipissing, some sunshine tomorrow at 10, 9 sun and cloud Wednesday, Thursday 9 degrees sunshine, and here we go Friday with the chance of showers. Only 4 degrees for the trick-or-treaters. Chance of showers on Saturday once again, 30%, but your high at around 5. Don't forget the time change coming up in just a couple of days, just days after Halloween. We'll talk more about that. And of course, I'll throw things back to Tony. Tony, you know it's got to rain sometime. Back to you.
How true. Thanks for that, Rick. Yes Theatre is announcing its full lineup of productions for the 2026 season. The shows will take place at the Sudbury Theatre Centre and the downtown outdoor venue, the Refectorio. CTV's Alan Everson reports.
Yes Theatre Artistic and Managing Director Alessandro Constantini unveils the 2026 season. He says a lot of thought goes into the selection process for productions each year.
The season that we've assembled this year, I think, really achieves our intention of being locally driven and world class. So we are working with incredible local artists here in our community to tell these incredible, brilliant stories. Some that are new, some that have been developed right here in Sudbury, some that have been taking over the world for decades and years.
One summertime production, City Medicine, is written by local playwright Sarah Gartshaw in collaboration with people who live on the street in Sudbury.
So we were looking at the crisis that we're facing in downtown and the crisis that many Canadian cities are facing, and we wanted to do something about it. We wanted to bring people together to talk about the crisis in a really hopeful and meaningful way.
Constantini says there is something for everyone in the 2026 lineup.
We have Disney's Frozen, we have Canada's most successful theatre piece, Come From Away, we have a David Bowie concert and Queen concert, Sinatra concert that's going to be happening, and we have an original Canadian musical that we have commissioned here in Sudbury called Way Out There that will be opening this season.
Constantini says Yes Theatre amalgamated with the STC in 2023, and at that point there were 90 subscribers, and there are now over 1,300 in just 3 seasons. The artistic director says the major uptick comes at a time when many theatre organizations across the country are seeing a decline in subscriptions. Alana Everson, CTV News, Sudbury.
Smooth Rock Falls is moving forward with more affordable housing. After reviewing proposals, the town chose Descon Construction as the contractor for its attainable community housing project. With a need for more homes, particularly for seniors, council approved the project last spring. Before any specific decisions are made, the town wants to hear from interested residents. The project manager expects between 20 and 30 units, and many are going to be geared towards seniors.
We think there's a need for senior housing. I looked at the demographics in advance. I've met with the council, and right now the feeling is there is a need for seniors, but hey, there could be a need for other housing. We're quite capable of building anything.
Public meetings are set for November 19th. Plenty of northern sports to tell you about over the weekend, including hockey and curling. We are back after this. Mining company Glencore is working on plans to close one of its mines in Greater Sudbury, and the union is making sure its members stay working elsewhere within the company. We get more from CTV's Angela Gemmell.
Traffic goes in and out of this entrance in Levac, where there are several production sites belonging to Glencore, Sudbury Integrated Nickel Operations. That includes Fraser Mine, due to close by the end of this year. No one from Glencore was available for an interview, but provided a written statement saying, in part, "We are committed to managing this transition in a transparent, respectful, and collaborative manner. Throughout the closure and rehabilitation process, our top priorities will remain on health, safety, and environmental stewardship." Almost 200 production and maintenance workers are based at Fraser Mine. Most will be moved to other Glencore operations in Sudbury.
In our collective agreement, the protections that we've bargained, we don't foresee any job loss in our bargaining unit. So that's positive, but it's also things could change. Things change all the time, right? So we're actively working with the employer to make sure there is no layoff or any kind of job reduction in our bargaining unit specifically.
Glencore says there will be new opportunities at its Onaping Depth project, also in Levac, where it's ramping up operations.
Onaping Depth to Craig Mine, that's a project currently. not work we normally do, but again, in our collective agreement, we've negotiated protections that basically say if there's any kind of disruption or job loss, that our members will take over the work of the contractors that are doing the work currently at Craig Mine, which is, for my estimates, around 250 positions open. Well, not open, but available.
The only issue is there could be a 6-month stretch between Fraser closing and Onaping Depth opening.
To me, it makes a lot more sense to keep people working throughout this transition position or transition period. And then once the mine's in full production, then we're back to where we were.
Last year, 553,000 tons of ore came out of Fraser Mine, where nickel, copper, and other minerals have been mined since 1963. But the final production of ore will happen in December. Angela Gemmell, CTV News, Levac.
A Sudbury business is raising money for the local hospital by playing games. Good Manners Real Estate Group recently hosted its 3rd annual Game for Good. The event included a live stream video game marathon to raise money for Health Sciences North Foundation. This year, $25,000 was raised, bringing the 3-year total to more than $60,000. It was a busy weekend for Northern teams in the OHL. Friday night was a big win for the Sudbury Wolves, who beat the Barrie Colts 5-3. The Greyhounds weren't as lucky, dropping their game against the Peterborough Petes 4-3 in overtime. The North Bay Battalion were in Brampton, where Saturday they lost to the Steelheads 3-1. The Peterborough Petes would end their northern road swing in Sudbury Sunday. The Wolves defeated the Petes 8-2. And the North Bay Battalion road woes continued Sunday with another loss, this time to the Kitchener Rangers. October has been a great month for the Sioux Thunderbirds. They've won 7 of their last 9 games, catapulting them into 2nd place. Sudbury, Powassan, and Espanola are all tied with 21 points apiece. In the bottom half of the standings, French River and the Sioux Eagles continue to fall further behind as the season progresses. The Henderson Medal Fall Classic Curling Championship wrapped up yesterday in Sault Ste. Marie. Team Casper of Minnesota played an action-packed final against Team Retournaz to win the title and a $24,000 check. Catching up, when we return, we check in with our friends over at Pure Country. You're watching First at 5.
Well, lots going on in the country music world, both north and south of the border. Hey, how about the CPKC holiday train? It will be returning to Northern Ontario later on in November. Going to see Jade Eagleson and Tegan Gaze, 2 rising stars in Canadian country music. They're going to be on the train performing a completely free show for everyone to enjoy, not to mention accepting donations to the local food bank. You can catch it, Northern Ontario, again, November 30th when it stops in McTier, Shawanaga, Rudder, and Sudbury. And then December 1st, Cartier and Chapleau.
Hey, speaking of Canadian country music, Andrew Hyatt is an artist from Sudbury. If you happen to find yourself in the Nickel City on Saturday, November 15th, 7 until 11 p.m., Knox Hall, downtown Sudbury, he's actually hosting a songwriter night. When he comes back to town, because he's spending a lot of his time in Nashville these days, when he comes back, these are fantastic nights. Tickets are available right now. You're going to hear some songs and some stories behind the music. So great. You can actually find ticket details on our website, purecountry917.ca. Check it out.
Hey, some news south of the border in country music. Really cool to see the genre dominating the soundtrack of season 2 of Nobody Wants This on Netflix. Ella Langley, Chris Stapleton, and Casey Musgraves all making appearances on that soundtrack. Check it out on Netflix.
And really quick, we want to keep a Kleenex close by, but Jelly Roll, an artist that we play quite a bit on Pure Country, had a really cool and emotional performance recently at the Grand Ole Opry, where he partnered up with a classroom full of kids who are part of a music program, and they sang I Am Not Okay. Look it up. Have a look and enjoy, but keep a Kleenex close by.
Hey, keep tabs on those stories and more by listening to Pure Country, 91.7 on the dial, or check it out completely free on the iHeartRadio app.
Our first community close-up comes to us from North Bay. The outdoor winter market returns with more magic and community spirit. The market starts November 8th and runs until the 28th. The market includes vendors, live music, cultural programming, mini train rides, Santa Claus, and so much more. We're heading south of Sudbury on Highway 69 to the community of Britt. Gorley Roy emailed us a few pictures. He says, "Are you ready for Halloween?" Thanks so much for the photographs, Gorley. And are you enjoying the fall weather? It seems Hogan doesn't mind the cooler conditions. Lise of Sturgeon Falls sent us this photograph of her pup. Thanks so much, Lise. And finally, a Timmins man is getting ready to open his haunted mansion. It's been a popular venue every Halloween for nearly a decade. And as CTV's Lydia Chubak tells us, the goal is to give visitors a good scare, but also to show some love for the Timmins Food Bank.
The haunted Brimstone Mansion in Timmins is ready for another showing this Halloween.
I'm sure you taste much better when you're afraid.
Ron Lapine and his volunteers begin setting up this ghastly multi-room freak show in September. Lapine says he and his sponsors have forked out tens of thousands of dollars over the past 9 years, and the crew puts in around 4,300 hours to get it ready and take it all down. But it's a labor of love for his grandchildren and his wife, who's battling cancer.
And every year she stays alive. I said I'd do it, so I'm hoping to be able to continue. But it's getting harder. Help has been slow in coming, and it's something that the children start here in September asking me if I'm going to do it. So, you know, and I'm going, how do you tell 8 and 9 and 10-year-olds that no? And honestly, I find that somebody has to help the city do something. And I find there's not enough for the children. And where there is, well, some of them can't afford to go.
Everyone is welcome to tour the spooky mansion and get acquainted with some of the creepy ghouls. All Lapine asks for in return is a donation for the Timmins Food Bank, $2 a person, and a can of food.
We may have a job to do, you know, throughout the year, but sometimes we got to give back, and this is our way of giving back. And we give 100% back to the food bank.
He says he collects at least 3,000 pounds of food and close to $3,000. His busiest year yet was over 5,000 trick-or-treaters. Lapine says the experience takes about 15 to 20 minutes, and everyone will leave with some treats. The haunted Brimstone Mansion will be open on October 29th, 30th, and 31st from 5:30 to 9:30, and maybe even later depending on the lineups. The address is 1094 Chestnut Lane. Lydia Chubak, CTV News, Timmins.
Well done, Lydia. And there's more news for the North coming up at 6 o'clock. For now, continue watching as we hand things over to CTV National News.